always are expected to be on call at all times. Yes, at all times.
Cause I'm your sister, and always for you, and I don't know what I'd ever do without you from the beginning.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone is having an amazing Saturday. The weather has been beautiful here in London, so I know I've been having a good one. This video will be short and sweet and get straight to the point at answering a question that we have been asked so many times, whether it be on this channel, from family members, from friends, and no one ever seems to quite understand except other lawyers. So I'm gonna try to take a crack at demystifying it and kind of explaining. And I do want to give a shout out to the person who asked the question. I didn't answer you in the comments because I wanted to make this video to explain it. And you do a video on how many days in a week that you work. If I was to answer the question simply, it'd be 7. So I think that that would kind of be disingenuous without breaking down exactly what I mean by that. The title is not clickbait. I'll explain why, but lawyers do technically work 24/7. Before we have a flood of comments saying that that's just not true, lawyers don't work 24/7, I do want to give a disclaimer that I'm speaking on my experience in my field of work, and that doesn't mean that all lawyers experience this. So please, if you are a lawyer that doesn't experience this kind of work schedule, let me know. This is one of those videos where we really encourage people to comment below so that we do have a diversity of opinions and like a broad understanding of how much lawyers work. The way I'm going to break down this video is through 1, phone calls, 2, office or FaceTime, so the actual time that you're spending in the office, and 3, emails. Let's start with FaceTime because I do think for most jobs that is your work hours. Let's say you're a nurse, you work at a hospital, your schedule is determined on how many hours you spend in that hospital, right? So like, let's say you ask a nurse how many hours a week she works and she says 60, she's calculating the hours that she spends in the hospital or wherever else she's stationed. So corporate lawyers in big law, like I said, I do want to specify whom I have experience with, never solely worked in the office. It was never a thing pre-COVID that you went into the office at 9 and you'd leave at 5 and your day was over. That was just never a thing. Most people would just take their work with them home, whether that be physical documents, your laptop, or something that's already on your computer. Even before COVID, most of the people I knew, and if you watch our videos, you will see with us as well, had a home setup. You had the double screens, or you had one big screen, or you just had one desktop monitor, depending on what's comfortable for you and obviously what your budget is like. You had the docking station, you had your mouse, you had your keyboard, and if you had work to do that went past 9 to 5 or 9 to 7, whatever it is, you would go home and you would sit at your desk and you'd work. Whether that be till 2 in the morning, whether that be until 11 at night, whatever it is. So your time was never limited to your office FaceTime. It wasn't an anomaly for you to work really late at home in your home office space. That was just a part of the culture, and I'll get into a little bit about why that is a little later on. Generally, it's because you are in client services and you are doing what your clients want you to do, essentially. Like, that is how you make money. That is how law firms make money. They bill to clients, hence billable hours, and that is how you get paid. Even the reasoning some people have for trying to get rid of work from home or have a hybrid schedule or anything like that. In the legal space, the conversation isn't starting with productivity because of the fact that your hours were never limited to when you were in the office. It's more so about learning and bonding and creating firm culture and things like that because, like I said, billable hours, your requirements, they're not changing. Whether you're in your house, whether you're in Hawaii, whether you're in the office, those hours do not change. So boom, that is FaceTime. If you're interested more in billable hours specifically and what they are, we have a live that we've done years ago. You can go check out. I'm not gonna talk about what billable hours are anymore in this video. That is to say, that was the office culture. That is the FaceTime culture. So even if you don't have any work, you don't have any assignments to turn in, you still are expected to be in the office on those days. You would work those 7 hours. So you would put in your time logs, instead of hours that are gonna get billed to the client, you'd write what you did. So whether it was reading, so you'd say like professional reading, or if you were doing things around the office, so like administrative tasks, you put like administrative tasks. If you're working with precedent documents, you put precedent, attention to precedent, things like that. So those were your 7 hours, boom, you go home. Get into now phones. Phones. For a lot of, if not all law firms, when you start working, you are one, given a phone, given the option to receive a phone or have apps placed on your personal phone, or you are expected to be able to answer your phone after a certain time, so you're encouraged to have calls forwarded to your personal phone. A lot of that is just a matter, I guess, of the company, or like I personally will always have a separate phone because I just think having one phone is just way too intrusive. You have that second phone because, like I said, it's client services and lawyers are expected to be on call at all times. Yes, at all times. Picture any other job where you're on call. Let's say you're a doctor or whatever it is. It's the one I immediately think of. When you're on call, that means that you can get a call from a client or something and you're expected to answer it. You're expected to respond to it. And at all times means at all times. So if you are drinking at a brunch on Saturday and your client is calling you with an emergency, you're expected to answer that call, or at the very least give them a call back soon afterwards and figure out what's going on. You don't want to be the person that the client is calling and you didn't answer and then they email the entire team like, just called Samantha, couldn't reach her, but I have this issue going on. Like, that is, you are expected to answer that call. So when you hear people complain about big law or corporate law for say, that's sometimes what drives it. When they say the work culture, more so than the actual hours that they're working, it's the fact that you can't go to sleep at 9 p.m. on a Thursday, even if you're tired and have no work, if you have the idea that something may come in from the client that evening. So you're literally just sitting around, you're not billing time, just sitting there waiting for work or whatever it is. And that's all hours. If I'm being completely transparent, this has been the biggest issue for me when it comes to like guys that I'm dating, because it's hard to explain when you're making plans, if that makes sense, on a weekday. So someone will be like, what time do you get off work today? And the answer is really never. Like, I am technically supposed to be attentive to what's going on my deal teams, my emails, etc. until I go to sleep. That's really what it is. Until I go to sleep, I'm expected to be attentive to the client or communicate that I won't be there. And obviously you can't communicate 3 days a week that you're going on a date. So a lot of your schedule just becomes your judgment. So let's say it's 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, your emails are starting to slow down. You might say, hey, this is a good time to possibly go grab dinner with someone, and you do it, but you'd have to monitor your emails throughout dinner, which can be very rude. You just gotta like tell them, which I do, like, it's rude. So you're like, hey, just so you know, I'm technically still working on something, so I might periodically check my phone throughout dinner. Not trying to be rude, but it is what it is. And the last song, I guess it's a derivative of phones, but emails. Emails drive the job. Everything happens through email or phone calls, but a lot of people don't call you if something can be down in the email just because it saves everyone time. Actually, I don't know if it saves time, but it just feels more appropriate than calling someone's phone all day. Just send an email with whatever it is. How quick you're supposed to respond to emails, even if it's just a simple will do. Responsiveness is so important in this job. So even if it's 11 o'clock at night, some people are expecting you to hit a will do or a 10 o'clock will do. So that means that you have to check your emails all day, every day, including weekends. Including weekends. So to answer her question, you work every single day if you're accounting for your attentiveness to emails. And you do get emails on weekends. Not every single weekend, but you do. So there are very few times where you can literally just go out, unless you actually take vacation, and just do whatever you want all Saturday and leave your phone in the house and not check anything. It's very rare. You're expected to respond. You're expected to be on call, as I explained, at all times. Now, all of this is prefaced with the fact that a lot of the repercussions are really just social. Most people aren't getting fired because they fell asleep on a Tuesday. It's all just about social capital, building social capital. So, and setting boundaries. So I know some people that don't answer emails after 10. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care what the repercussion could be. We're not saving lives. They don't care if it's a fire drill. They will look at it in the morning. I know some people that don't answer emails on weekends because, like I said, they don't care. They just think it's physically impossible to prevent burnout if they are answering emails 7 days a week, working 7 days a week. It's just not feasible, and it's not in their goals, their list of goals. It's not to be the best associate, the most responsive associate, to learn the most, etc. So yeah, that was a very long-winded way of explaining how much we work, the standards that we're expected to uphold when it comes to responsiveness, and how many hours we work. I hope that was helpful. I hope that answers your question. The short answer to your question was 7 days a week, but I thought it'd be helpful to actually explain what those 7 days a week look like. And if you like this video, as always, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and share, and watch out for more videos. We'll be back together soon.